Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Tuesday, February 15th, and this local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. They call him Flagler County's art father, and now that man, Tom Gargiulo, founder of the Gargiulo Art Foundation, has died.
Tom's work was featured in more than 150 solo shows, and Salvo Art Project owner J.J. Graham says you may have seen Tom's work and never knew it.
A large portion of the collection of art that's in the Daytona State College branch here and at their main campus is because of Tom. All the art that you see in the library when you go there, the paintings when you walk in the door, they're there because of Tom. You drive by the Panther and you come over the bridge, the Paul Balaker piece, that's there because of Tom. If you go to Waterford Park, you're looking at sculptures that were placed there by Tom. He did all of that, and he did it very quietly at some times, in the background.
Graham says Tom's contribution to the arts community for the last 25 years deserves to be memorialized.
Palm Coast is such a young town, and it needs a history, and I really hope Tom can be part of that. He deserves to be. So I'm definitely going to try to work with his family and try to somehow find a way to put a small curated collection of his work somewhere in this community so he can be remembered.
Tom is survived by his longtime partner, Arlene Volpe. He was 83. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
A Palm Coast father faces felony child abuse charges after beating his 9-year-old child over iPad app purchases.
Andrew Ackerson, already on probation for battery on the child's mother, picked up his son several times, throwing him into the walls, closets, and other items in the home. His son suffered bruising on multiple parts of his body, including under both of his eyes. Here's some advice and a warning from Sheriff Rick Staley.
Parents, you have the right to discipline your children, but you cannot get so carried away that you seriously hurt a child. In this case, a better discipline would have been to take the iPad away from the child or make him do chores at home until he had earned the money that he spent. But beating up your child because you lose your temper is not legal.
A repeat offender, Atkerson, is in the Sheriff Perry Hall inmate detention facility. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Lisa Rotman.
Why did the Marlows pay less than $600 a month in rent when they first opened the Green Lion?
The reason why we got, quote-unquote, such a good deal is because no one thought that we would make it.
As was suggested on Real Estate Matters here on WNZF recently, Chris Marlowe, a co-owner and the manager at the restaurant, said they started out paying $500 a month in rent. That then went to $600. Marlowe said that the market rate for the restaurant at Palm Harbor Golf Course was technically $0.
No one would offer anything, which I find ironic is when perhaps some of the councilmen yesterday, on Tuesday's meeting say, I'll give you $700, I'll give you $800, I'll give you $1,200. I wanted to say, well, you could have, but you didn't. It was open for public bid.
Marlowe said that he and his family invested $100,000 to fix up the place, invested in equipment for the restaurant, and he said the biggest investment was in its people.
And the biggest thing that we invested in, which people might not always realize, is that we invested in the staff. We invested in a management team that could take that place to becoming the hole in the wall to the #1 restaurant in Palm Coast.
30 people work at the Green Lion. Chris Marlowe said in the first 3 years of operation, there was Hurricane Irma. They closed several times because the floor collapsed, the drains didn't work, and there were other serious structural issues. And even though the city paid for those repairs, Marlowe said that the restaurant made $0 in 3 years. You can listen to Real Estate Matters on Saturday mornings at 11 here on WNZF and anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, Marlowe talks about staying open. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
Flagler Beach is cutting back on beaches that will have lifeguards just before what's expected to be the most normal summer since the COVID-19 pandemic began.
The city plans to drop down from 8 to 6 lifeguard towers across 12 blocks, down from 16 blocks. Flagler Beach Parks and Rec Director Tom Gillen says his lifeguards were busy last summer.
We made over 100 rescues last summer. Guards did a really terrific job of seeing the rescues, and that's really 90% of making a rescue is noticing that somebody is in trouble before you can go out and make the rescue. The overwhelming majority, we had 84 rip current rescues and 17 surf rescues.
Currently, the city budgets $240,000 for its lifeguard program, with $130,000 of that going towards salaries at $12 an hour. The county puts in $84,000, and City Manager William Whitson says they'll be seeking more money from the county, even amid the cutbacks.
We negotiated that agreement years ago, and now the on-the-ground situation is shifting and changing faster and faster, and the mayor has been a very clear advocate of this. We've written a letter to the county asking for more money, but it's a process we have to go through.
Mayor Susie Johnston recalled her time in the junior lifeguard program fondly.
I just wanted to commend you on this program. I went through this program 30 years ago, and it has always been a success for Flagler Beach. It was something that I personally look forward to every summer.
The city stands to save $25,000 by lessening the number of guarded beaches. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
For this year, in this case, it's really just mostly dead.
That's State Representative Paul Renner talking about the controversial vacation rentals bill that caused quite a stir in the last legislative session. A pair of bills sought to take away local control over online vacation rentals and instead give that power to the state. Renner, a Republican whose district includes Flagler County, says he's always been down the middle on this issue.
Believing that you have to balance private property rights against the rights of and interest of the way of life and quality of a neighborhood. And so you do have to balance, as well as the state and local control issues that are front and center in that discussion. And we just have not been able to find a sweet spot yet.
Renner calls that a win, saying it's better not to pass a bad bill, but he cautions.
You never know. It's only mostly dead right now until the end of session. Things do rise again, but I would be surprised if this one did.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.